Hello, Grace Community Church. We are in January 24th's reading, and we are looking at Job 19 through 21. Now, when you're in an argument with someone, how do you get them to see where you're coming from? Do you attack their intelligence, say they're stupid for what they believe in? Do you blame them for the situation that they are in? The truth is if you are going about arguments in that way, using those argumentative techniques, what you're doing is you're actually causing them to stick in their heels more. They then are going to turn back around and attack you for what you believe, and you're going to stick in your heels. And that's what Job and his friends are doing. Job's friends are attacking him, saying, "You're obviously wicked." And Job is saying, "I'm not. You guys are bad friends." And so then they feel attacked, and they're like, "Okay, we're bad friends. You're obviously wicked, because why would you call us that? We're trying to comfort you." And then Job's like, "What's going on?" This is the back and forth that we see here. And so Job is responding in this section to his friend Bildad. And he says, "You think you're better than I am, using my humiliation as evidence against me as sin." And then he goes on to say, "Look, I'm not asking for you to correct me. I want you to have mercy on me." He says this in verse 21 of 19, "Have mercy on me, my friends, have mercy, for the hand of God has struck me. I feel like you're persecuting me." In verse 22, "Haven't you chewed me up enough? Please stop doing this," Job says. But then he says this in verse 25, and I love this perspective that he's trying to remind himself of the truth of what he knows about who God is. And he says this in verse 25, "But as for me, I know that my Redeemer lives, and he will stand upon the earth at last. And after my body has decayed, yet I will see God. I will see him for myself. Yes, I will see him with my own eyes. I am overwhelmed at the thought." Now, I love that, because when I'm in the pit, I tend to really think about me. I think about what's going on in my life. Oh, woe is me. I can't believe this is happening to me. And Job has done that too. And he continually asks, "Where do I get my hope? Where do I get my hope?" And he turns his attention to God, saying, "I am overwhelmed not by my suffering, though that is very painful, but I am actually overwhelmed because I'm changing my thought to think about your redemption." Right? He says, "My Redeemer lives." He's going to redeem everything. That's what he's saying. Jesus has not yet revealed himself to Job, but for us, we know that Jesus is our Redeemer. He redeems us from the pit, and he is going to give us an inheritance. And Job is pointing to this. Someone is going to redeem me, and I will see him, and I'm overwhelmed at what that will look like. But then he turns back to his friends. "How dare you keep saying these things? You actually should fear God more, his punishment for what you have done to me." Now Zophar feels attacked, and he says, "What are you talking about? I'm greatly disturbed by what you're saying. We're enduring your insults, and so I have to reply to this." And then again, he goes on, we know he says we know the truth that the wicked do not prosper. Those who are wicked, they prosper for a short time, but then they are taken down, they are cut down, and they feel the taste of wickedness, but then the sweetness of wickedness, but then they are gone the next day. Suddenly the foods in their belly, in verse 14, turns sour, a poisonous venom in their stomach. And he keeps going on, describing how the wicked and the oppressed will be destitute, and they will be judged by God in this world. But then Job says, "Look, stop for a second. Listen to what I'm saying. Do that for me." And he says this, "Look at the actual order of the world. The wicked are the ones prospering." He says this, "They live to see their children grow up and settle down, and they enjoy their grandchildren. Their homes are safe from every fear, and God does not punish them. Their bulls never fail to breed. Their cows bear calves and never miscarry." And he goes on and on about the things that you experience and what you see in wicked people. And then he says, "Look, I know what you're going to say." He says, "I know what you're thinking. I know the schemes you plot against me. You will tell me of rich and wicked people whose houses have vanished because of their sin. But ask those who have been around, and they will tell you, more times than not," basically is what he's saying, "more times than not, the wicked prosper over those who are trying to be righteous." And so he's saying, look, you're telling me all these cliches, but these are actually lies. And I think that's an important thing for us to think about, is sometimes we are in our trite responses to those who are suffering, we're actually not seeing the people in front of us. We're just trying to put a band-aid over what they're going through, and instead of being with them in their suffering, showing mercy to them, trying to lift them up, we actually put band-aids on, or we make it worse, because they don't need to hear all the mumbo jumbo, the Christianese answers. They need to know that Jesus is there and he will redeem them and he will make all things new. As Job said, my Redeemer lives, and I'm overwhelmed with the thought that I will see him. We can too be overwhelmed by that. Can you imagine what it'll be like when everything is made new? When Jesus returns, and when all wrongs are made right, when suffering ceases, and when justice has reigned supreme? I cannot imagine what that will look like. Job tells us that even when everything seems like it's going downhill, we still have hope. Our Redeemer will make all things new. Let us be overwhelmed today by that thought. God bless you.